Coming up next, thousands in Rome pay tribute to Pope Francis ahead of his funeral tomorrow. The Center County Report starts now. Good afternoon, I'm Sarah Grosh.
And I'm Allie Winskowski. Thanks for joining us for the Center County Report. Our top story, preparations for the funeral of Pope Francis. Reporter Ivan Rodriguez is live.
So far, at least 150,000 people have paid their respects to Pope Francis inside of St. Peter's Basilica. We want to show you live images from inside of the Basilica right now. This is the last bit of crowd here, still packed inside the Basilica, but moving rather quickly, just some of them waiting some hours, getting a minute, maybe seconds to pay their respects to Pope Francis and then exiting the Basilica. The Basilica is set to close here within the next hour, and then shortly after that, Pope Francis's coffin will be closed in preparation for his funeral tomorrow morning. 4 days after his death, Pope Francis is lying in state inside of St. Peter's Basilica one last day. Francis's coffin is near the tomb of St. Peter, the first pope. People we spoke with say they'll remember Francis for his outspoken advocacy for the poor and insistence on a more welcoming Catholic Church.
He is a person of people.
Now, final preparations are underway across Vatican City for Francis's funeral Saturday morning. Tens of thousands of people are expected to come into St. Peter's Square to witness the funeral service. Security will also be tight because at least 10 reigning monarchs and 50 heads of state of government will be attending, including President Donald Trump and First Lady Melania Trump, Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky, and French President Emmanuel Macron.
Once in a life, you have to see the Pope. I'm sorry that I didn't have the chance to see him before when he was alive.
People are not only flocking to the Vatican to pay their respects, but also to Basilica di Santa Maria Maggiore, where Pope Francis chose to be laid to rest.
It's a beautiful church, and there's a priest inside that gives you a blessing. Just such reverency, and it's very moving.
About 50,000 people came to Benedict's funeral in 2023, while around 300,000 attended John Paul's in 2005. Former President Joe Biden and former First Lady Jill Biden will also be attending tomorrow's funeral. We know that following the funeral mass, there will be a procession that won't go directly to the Basilica where Pope Francis will be buried, but instead it'll detour through some historical monuments in the city of Rome, like the Roman Forum and also the Colosseum. Live in Rome, I'm Ivan Rodriguez.
Ivan Rodriguez in Rome, thank you. Back here at home, Catholic parishes around central Pennsylvania area are also mourning the loss of Pope Francis and remembering his life. Isabel Charbonneau continues our team coverage.
Catholics across Pennsylvania have spent this week mourning Pope Francis after he suffered a stroke and died on Easter Monday.
It's been reflective. I mean, the Holy Father, again, is a father to us all.
State College's Our Lady of Victory Church, a parish in the Altoona-Johnstown Diocese, has been remembering the Pope at each Mass following his death.
His last action that he did as Pope was blessing us, blessing the city and the world, and I think that's the way he would have liked to end his life.
Pope Francis began his papacy in 2013 and was known by Catholics around the world for his humility and simplicity and his concern for the poor and marginalized communities. He was the first pope from Latin America and was vocal on issues like climate change and caring for migrants. Altoona-Johnstown Bishop Mark Bartchak said Francis showed examples of faithfulness and service.
All the differences among peoples and all the problems in the world. But he said one thing can overcome that, and that's the virtue of hope.
Now, the Catholic Church must select a new pope through a centuries-old process involving a conclave. All cardinals under the age of 80 who are in the College of Cardinals will gather in Vatican City and choose the new pope. The sequestered cardinals meet for rituals that are shrouded in secrecy. The decision could require multiple votes over days.
It's a process that nobody wants to rush, and in this case, I don't think it will be rushed.
Pope Francis's funeral will be followed closely by the conclave, in which about 135 cardinals are currently eligible to vote for the next head of the Catholic Church. In State College, I'm Isabel Charbonneau for the Center County Report.
The conclave to choose a new pope is expected to begin between May 5th and 10th at the Vatican.
In other news, law enforcement continues to investigate an alleged attack plot on State College High School. After days of extra security there, including metal detectors and more police on scene, the school is back to normal security protocols. 20-year-old Braden Phillips is charged in the case. He's accused of planning an attack on the school using bombs and a hit list. He's charged with conspiracy to commit murder and is being held without bail. His next court appearance is set for April 30th.
A preliminary hearing for the man accused of setting fire to Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro's residence has been postponed. 38-year-old Cody Ballmer of Harrisburg is being held in the Dauphin County Prison and faces 8 felony charges, including attempted homicide, aggravated arson, and terrorism. His court appearance has been moved to May 28th. The fire caused millions of dollars in damages. The governor's mansion reopened to the public this week for an Easter egg hunt.
A Penn State wrestler faces criminal charges that include public drunkenness and resisting arrest. 20-year-old Braden Davis is accused of running from police after being told to leave a fraternity house in State College last month. Davis has a court appearance scheduled for May 21st.
More than 100 international students have asked a federal judge to let them resume their studies while the court decides whether the government abused its power by terminating their immigration records. The Trump administration has until next Tuesday to reinstate the status of the students. That's after a judge granted the students' request for a temporary restraining order against the government. The ACLU-led lawsuit claims ICE unlawfully revoked student visas, leading students to self-deport. A number of Penn State students, have lost their immigration status in recent weeks.
The Education Department has announced it will start collecting student loan debt that's in default. The start date is May 5th. More than 5 million borrowers are in default, and overall 60% of borrowers are behind on their payments. Under the plan, the federal government will garnish wages from some of those in default. 42 million borrowers have some type of debt, according to the Department of Education.
Still to come on the Center County Report. It's been a nice warm week, but is that about to change? We check the weekend forecast.
And the Penn State Student Farm has a fun family event planned for Earth Day this evening. We have the details. Also coming up, it's a dream come true for 2 Penn State football stars at the NFL Draft. We check in with our team in Green Bay as more Nittany Lions hope to have their names called tonight.
Earth Day happened this week, but today Penn State is hosting an event for local families to get outside and celebrate Mother Earth. Reporter Kiera Baker is in our studio with the details. Kiera?
Sarah, it's Friday, and that means it's time to get out and enjoy the warm weather. Penn State Student Farm has an event with food, music, and more, all to celebrate Earth Day. The Penn State Student Farm serves as a living lab for students to gain hands-on experience, from growing crops to learning about agriculture and sustainability. It's been here for more than a decade.
We started as just a 1-acre, 3-year pilot program. And so looking at our current fence line, we sit at about 3.6 acres. So just that growth that we were able to have.
Today, the farm will take a center stage as it hosts its event to mark this week's Earth Day. The event runs from 4 to 7 p.m. Visitors can enjoy live music, guided farm tours, food trucks, and sustainability-themed activities. 2 hands-on workshops will also be offered, one on mushroom cultivation and another on composting. Don't worry if you don't know what you're doing. They'll give you the tools and materials to start on their own sustainable projects at home. For many students, Earth Day is more than just a calendar date. It's a chance to connect with the community, learn skills, and make a difference.
Something that needs to be celebrated because the earth has given so much to us. At least we could do a little bit to give back, and especially at the farm because everything we do is centered around the earth and trying to protect it.
Events like this one mean a lot to the community and the students who are excited for the festivities.
Different sorts of activities for all ages. We have a mending station, we have a natural jewelry station, we have a mini plant sale, and so people can come and learn and celebrate.
A free shuttle from Berkeley Creamery will start running at 3:45 p.m., making it easy for everyone to get to the farm and enjoy the fun. The Student Farm Club is also getting ready for another popular event soon. The 11th annual plant sale is set for Friday from 11 till 5 at the Tyson Greenhouses on the University Park campus. The club will sell vegetables and other plants, 11,000 seedlings in total. I'm Kiera Baker. Now let's check the weather.
We've got rain on the way throughout this afternoon and into tomorrow, but the blue and white game forecast does not look to be too bad for right now. Outside, the golf courses are not seeing too much precipitation, mainly just cloudy skies, and we're sitting at around 68. But look at our winds out of the southwest. That's going to allow our temperatures to climb just a little bit. But notice out to the west is also these rain showers. Now, this rain over State College isn't actually quite reaching the ground. It's something called evaporation, where the rain is essentially evaporating from the air and you're not seeing it reach the ground. So that is not reaching the ground, but out towards the west, that rain will begin to move in by about 2 or 3 o'clock this afternoon. Now, I mentioned temperatures not rising all too much today compared to yesterday where we hit 82. Now, tonight, it's also going to be warm because those clouds are going to keep a little bit of a lid on those temperatures from dropping all too much. So I have a low temperature of about 59, but the rain will be increasing in intensity and steadiness as we head later into the overnight hours and into tomorrow morning. Now, all thanks to this low pressure system that's situated just east of Michigan, this will begin to make its way eastward, and the cold front attached to it is going to be what's responsible for clearing out tomorrow for the blue-white game. And so the timing of when that front moves through is going to be crucial for when we'll see drying conditions heading into tomorrow. So let's time out that rain and when it'll affect the region heading into tonight and into tomorrow. Now, starting about 7 o'clock today, we do see more scattered rain showers that will be infiltrating much of the area. Then it begins to overspread, increasing in intensity and steadiness as we head into about the 2 o'clock hour overnight. Temperatures still mild in the 60s. Then the front begins to move through by about 8 o'clock, and we see a little bit more drying conditions heading into tomorrow morning. Then we see a few scattered showers that might try to linger during the tailgating, so it's going to be a little bit soggy, but it's not going to be downpouring all throughout the tailgates. Then about kickoff, we might see the rain begin to let up, and then the sun will begin to move out or come in and overspread much of the region heading into the afternoon and overnight hours. And then we continue to see overnight clearing conditions heading into tomorrow. Then for the blue and white game, we see lingering showers, but dropping temperatures will be really coming in throughout the afternoon. And then our 7-day forecast, it's going to be cooler heading into this weekend with the rain moving in throughout Friday and Saturday. But it looks like the rain will be moving out quite nicely just in time for kickoff for tomorrow.
That's super exciting that the rain's going to hold off for game time.
Yeah, that's perfect. I've been loving the sunny skies. Now we're going to head over to Tyler with sports.
Coming up next in sports, 2 Nittany Lion football stars heard their names called during last night's first round of the NFL draft. We'll check in with our broadcast team in Green Bay to talk about the big night. Also coming up, it's Blue-White weekend at Penn State, but this year's football scrimmage and fan experience will look a little bit different. Find out why. I'm Tyler Hamer with sports. The NFL draft continues tonight in Green Bay, Wisconsin. 2 Penn State football stars were drafted in the first round last night, and more players hope to hear good news in the next few rounds. Let's check in with our Center County report team covering the draft in Green Bay, Mike Bolger and Josh Bartosik.
Thanks, Tyler. Day 1 of the NFL draft is in the books with 2 Penn Staters going in the first round. First, Abdul Carter at number 3 to the New York Giants.
Yeah, you kind of expected that to be the case. The first Nittany Lion defensive player to be taken in the top 3 since LeVar Arrington was drafted number 2 overall back in 2000. And for Abdul Carter, he goes from a historic and storied college program to another historic and storied NFL franchise.
Obviously, there's legacy at Penn State. Obviously, there's legacy at New York. They're pretty similar. And just me knowing that, being at Penn State, coming to New York, just want to continue that and just bring that dominant force back to New York.
Carter goes first off the board for Penn State, but then Tyler Warren wasn't too far behind him, landing all the way down to the Indianapolis Colts at number 14, and just a great tight end to put with Anthony Richardson.
I think it was a little bit of a shock that he wasn't the first tight end off the board, Colston Loveland being the first one to the Bears, but slam dunk pick for the Colts, slam dunk spot for Tyler Warren to land. Still wearing the blue and white is a little bit of a different shade, similar to Abdul Carter, but it's a good fit for him out in Indy.
2 Penn Staters are now off the board. That leaves 9 more left to go.
For Josh Matozik, I'm Mike Bolger signing off from Green Bay, Wisconsin. Back to you, Tyler, in the studio.
Thanks, Mike and Josh. The draft continues tonight at 7 and then again tomorrow starting at noon. You can listen to the picks live on Penn State Com Radio with our broadcast team in Wisconsin. While those former Nittany Lions watch and wait at the draft, current players continued their work at spring practice this week. Warm weather moved the Nittany Lions outdoors at Haluba Hall on Wednesday as the team ramped up practice as the spring season comes to a close. Coach James Franklin met with the media after practice and continued to emphasize the competition that these practices provide.
The wide receivers aren't just competing with the wide receivers. The tight ends aren't just competing with the tight ends. The wide receivers are competing with the tight ends. So the third wide receiver is competing with the second tight end. The third wide receiver is competing with the second running back. The second tight end's competing with the second running back in terms of who's going to be on the field, right?
Spring practice officially ends tomorrow with the annual Blue-White game at Beaver Stadium. But this year, the whole fan experience will look a little bit different. Reporter Owen Gelber is live at Beaver Stadium with more. Owen?
Thanks, Tyler. Live here at Beaver Stadium. Crews behind me here have been working around the clock to ensure a safe blue and white weekend. It's certainly going to look a lot different for previous spring games, but Penn State has released a Know Before You Go guide so fans can stay in the loop.
As another school year soon comes to an end, the construction at Beaver Stadium continues on. Crews are working on the $700 million renovation at Beaver Stadium, expected to be finished in 2027. One of the more visible signs, temporary bleachers going up on the west side, where seats in the press box used to be. The annual Blue-White game will look a lot different for fans, as many will get their first look inside the stadium's construction project.
The experience is already crazy. You know, we can feel how all the acoustics bounce off each other. You know, it gets so loud, especially like the whiteout game. It's insane. But I mean, we're at a few thousand seats in here, so I mean, it's only going to get louder.
Crews broke ground on the renovation in late last fall with the goal of enhancing Beaver Stadium's fan experience, modernizing facilities, and constructing new premium seating options. Winterized plumbing and heating are 2 major improvements, allowing Beaver Stadium to operate in the colder months to host NCAA playoff football games and potential outdoor events. The press box was demolished in early January, and because of that west side construction, seating will be limited to the north, east, and south sections of the stadium for Blue-White. Entry into the game is free, but all fans are required to enter through Gate A or E starting at 12:30 p.m. Starting at 10 a.m., the annual Blue-White Block Party will begin outside with food and drink options available for purchase. And at 11:35, select Nittany Lion players will be available around the stadium to sign autographs and meet fans. Penn State Athletic Director Pat Kraft has said the stadium project isn't just for football, but rather one that will impact all 31 sports teams at Penn State and the entire campus community.
Parking lots open here tomorrow at 8 a.m. with kickoff scheduled for 2 p.m. There's plenty of steel here still exposed behind me, but as James Franklin says, iron sharpens iron, and the next football season starts now. I'm Owen Gelber at Beaver Stadium. Now back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Owen. Penn State baseball isn't just breaking attendance records and dollar dog numbers, it's having one of the best starts to a season in years. Reporter Allie Winskowski takes a look.
The Gambino era is shining through. Head coach Mike Gambino filled the shoes of Rob Cooper less than 2 years ago, and the Penn State baseball team has been revitalized.
This lineup top to bottom, there's not one guy you're worried about.
This week, the team improved to 25-14 on the season and 12-9 in conference play. One more conference win will give the Nittany Lions their best conference record in recent years. They also showed improvement last year, with the team making its deepest postseason run in 2.5 decades.
Coach Gambino's biggest secret weapon? The not-so-secret transfer portal. Penn State has new faces on the mound and to fill out their dangerous lineup.
Long term, we want to be able to use the transfer portal to sort of plug holes when you lose their guys to the draft or whatever. You know, for the first 2 years, we've hit the portal pretty hard, right, to try to get competitive quickly.
Ryan DeSanto transferred from St. Joseph's and is responsible for 7 of the team's wins. From national championship winning LSU, Paxton Kling became a Nittany Lion and has 12 home runs. The Jakonski brothers were also reunited, bolstering the starting 9.
You don't have guys that have been together for 3 and 4 years, so the leadership has done a really, really good job I'm growing and starting to take over this clubhouse.
Gambino credits much of the success to how the team has gelled together and focused on peer-to-peer leadership.
You're starting to see a culture build, right? And it takes multiple years to build that.
Reporting for the Center County Report, I'm Allie Winskowski.
The Blue and White will be back to action at Medler Field next week to celebrate Country Night at the ballpark. That's all for sports. Now back to you, Allie and Sarah at the desk. Did you guys catch the NFL draft last night?
I caught a little bit of the opening, but it was great to see Penn State players go.
Absolutely, I'm so happy for them. Coming up next, you may not know it, but today is Arbor Day, and that means lots of tree planting around the country. Find out what one local township is doing to mark the day.
Today is Arbor Day across the nation, and celebrations are happening this weekend. Arbor Day is a national holiday that celebrates and promotes trees and advocates for their planting and preservation. Here in our area, Ferguson Township is hosting an event tomorrow at Haymarket Park from 11 a.m. till 1 p.m. The theme for this year's celebration is Healthy Trees, Healthy Township. You can check Ferguson Township's website for more information. It's great to see a township doing something like that for Earth Day.
Absolutely, it's like the Lorax in real life.
It really is. That's all for today's newscast. We hope you'll join us next Friday for another local news update.
But you can follow us anytime for breaking news on our Center County Report X. And you can see our stories on our Facebook page, Instagram, YouTube, and our website. Have a good weekend.